for him. It is a supercharged atmosphere, and the only question will be whether or not David Price can control his emotions here today. It's been a great start to his afternoon.
Yeah, you got to figure that he is fired up. He came out early, almost 45 minutes before first pitch today to get loose, get used to his surroundings here at the Rogers Center. And you got to figure that he's excited. Now, he's pitched in big ball games before for Tampa Bay and Detroit, but this is a little bit different, being traded right into this pennant race. Mom and Dad are here up from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to watch their son pitch.
Had a chance to say hello to Bonnie and Debbie earlier in the game, and they were excited about being here for David's debut. Obviously, they have seen him pitch a lot of big games in the past, but they had a special assignment today before they got here.
Yeah, David called him and said, hey, you know what, I don't have any blue shoes to wear, blue spikes, so I had some Jackie Robinson Air Jordans made a few years ago, but they were back home in Murfreesboro. FedEx couldn't get them here in time because of the holiday, so Mom and Dad put them in the suitcase, brought them up for him, and there they are today. They fit nice. I asked his dad, do they fit? He goes, I'm not sure if they're still going to fit, but he is going to wear them this afternoon for his first start.
This is going to be a great start for the Blue Jays as they head into the crucial part of their schedule. These are the numbers for David Price in his 21 starts pitching for the Tigers.
9-4 with a .253 earned run average, 22nd start of the season. What he gives you is he gives you innings. He pitches deep into the ball game and he wins. That's what the Blue Jays want him for. He led the majors with 17 starts of 8+ innings last season. That's the most by any pitcher since Cliff Lee had 17 in 2010. So the Blue Jays are hoping that David Price can go deep and win.
The crowd is set. Price is set. He throws from an abbreviated windup. Russell Martin with the sign. Here's the first pitch of the game. It is a strike, and we are underway. 25 degrees on a gorgeous afternoon here on this holiday Monday. Brian Dozier, the leadoff man. Dozier, a terrific player. 23 home runs. That home run came yesterday to tie it up in the bottom of the ninth. A 1-1 ball game.
Just slow. You got to be very careful with Brian Dozier. He's got pop in that bat. You mentioned the 23 home runs. He also has 28 doubles.
This is a very curious reaction here at Rogers Center. It's almost as if the crowd, and it's a full house, that they don't believe David Price is pitching for the Blue Jays. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Foul straight back.
He's going to come right at you. He'll use that fastball. He'll cut it at times, an occasional curveball. One thing that we have noticed, David is throwing a few more changeups this year than he has in the past. I don't know if he wants to reinvent himself or try to keep people off of that fastball, but he will attack you.
2-2 to Dozier. First strikeout of the afternoon. David Price has always pitched well in this ballpark.
That's why they came to watch this. David Price faces one batter. Looks like a cutter on the outside part of the plate. And how about Russell Martin throwing that one out of the ball game to keep it? Usually you throw it around the infield. He threw that one out, so David Price has his first strikeout as a Blue Jay.
This is Eduardo Nunez. Nunez, the third baseman this afternoon. Nunez has got 10 hits and 41 at-bats and a home run. That's a .244 average against David Price. Just off the outside corner. Price is very deliberate. We mentioned his abbreviated windup, but he takes a long time to turn the ball loose. He is a very methodical pitcher on the mound.
But when he does, it's all over that strike zone. Those last two pitches just off the plate.
2-1. We mentioned Price in this ballpark. This is his 10th career start here at Rogers center. He has never lost, and he's got a 7-0 record pitching here what is now his new home ballpark.
Yeah, some of his best games have been against the Blue Jays, and right here.
Pop back out of play. Well, the Blue Jays won 3 of 4 against Kansas City in what the players described as a heavyweight boxing match. 2 first-class ball clubs. Josh Donaldson was in the midst of the entire 4-game series.
I'll tell you, they were 4 intense days here at Rogers Center, and they got the Blue Jays going.
Two up, 2 down, a couple of strikeouts for Price.
Well, how many times in the past have we seen this? David Price versus a right-handed batter. Here it is, right on that outside corner, along with great stuff. He's got good control. He can go in and out with that fastball. He elects to stay away from Nunez and strikes him out.
This is Trevor Plouffe, first baseman this afternoon, inside to Plouffe. Plouffe with 14 homers and 55 ribbies so far. Just off the outside corner. Russell Martin likes that location. Home plate umpire Jim Timmons saw it off the plate. Martin doing a little salesmanship behind the plate.
Yeah, you have to, but you know, he can take that ball back inside there. That one was just off the plate. Let's see if he makes the adjustment.
I can tell you, for Martin, this is a special day as well. Getting a chance to catch a former Cy Young Award winner. Your focus is extra keen. You want to make sure you do your best job. That's that cutter. His cutter has been somewhat inconsistent this year, and I think that's what led to him throwing more changeups. He threw 30% changeups in his last start against Tampa Bay.
30% changeups. Half the time it was fastballs, 30% more changeups. So that's 80% between those two pitches.
There's a high fly ball to center. Pilar battling the sun, using that glove as a shade. David Price has an inning under his belt as a Blue Jay. And they got a new look when Troy Tulowitzki was added to the ball club. He'll bat leadoff again today. Then Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista. He's had a good homestand. 7 for 25 in a homestand, 3 extra base hits, and he drove home 5. And then Ben Revere. He has put up good numbers against Urban Santana, the starter from Minnesota today. Revere in left field. He's got a double and an RBI against the right-hander for Minnesota.
Santana is a lot like yesterday's starter, Edinson Volquez, for Kansas City. This is his 6th start of 2015. He made his Twins debut July the 5th at Kansas City after serving an 80-game suspension to start the season. He was also lost his first game of the season last time out against Pittsburgh. He gave up 8 runs, 6 of them earned on 8 hits. And he had a season-high 4 walks in just 5 2/3 innings against Pittsburgh. This is Santana's 17th career start versus the Blue Jays.
Santana spent last year with the Braves. Here's his first pitch to Tulowitzki. Upstairs, Tim Timmons has a tight strike zone early in this game. This is the 6th game for Tulowitzki. And right now it looks like the hitters have the early advantage as far as the strike zone goes.
The pitchers, or excuse me, the hitters should pick up on that the strike zone is very tight this afternoon.
There's a strike. It's 2-1 to Tulowitzki. Santana, as we mentioned, he pitched last year for the Braves. He had 14 wins in Atlanta. He has spent 9 years in the American League. And remember, he was on the Blue Jays list to be signed as a free agent, and he ended up in Atlanta.
Blue Jays were going to change around some money. Some of the players were going to kick in some stuff and redo their contracts to get Santana here with the Blue Jays, but right at the last minute, he ended up signing with the Braves.
2-2 to Tulowitzki, going away. Ball is driven to right. Torrey Hunter, 9-time Gold Glover, is out there. He makes the catch. So Josh Donaldson, we mentioned his great series against Kansas City. He had 7 RBIs in this series when he stepped to the plate against Edinson Volquez.
There was all kind of stuff going on between Donaldson and the Kansas City Royals. I think a lot of it had to do with the perceived that he was stealing signs, so they're going to go up and in. And then finally, after the 3rd time, Donaldson said that's enough. Edinson Volquez was saying after the game that, Donaldson's a big crybaby and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Josh Donaldson had the best comeback I've ever heard about that. He said, I didn't want him to throw him out of the game. He's good hitting.
He is good hitting indeed. And the Blue Jays got the last laugh. They won 3 out of 4 against Kansas City. They won the season series 4-3 over the Royals.
I tell you, that hurts a lot more than some of the words that were flying after the game.
There's a strike. 1-2 to Donaldson. Donaldson 3 for 11 with a homer against Santana. We talk about some of the key players in the offensive ranks in the American League. Donaldson and Dozier top of the list in runs scored. Brian Dozier, the great second baseman of the Twins, is a terrific player. He has 23 home runs, as we mentioned. Donaldson atop the American League in RBIs with 75. Upstairs, Donaldson also has 37 multi-hit games. He is all over the leaderboard in the offensive department. Brian Dozier and Donaldson are tied with 54 extra base hits. 3-2 pitch to Donaldson. Popped up. Right side. First baseman going out. That ball's going to drop. Nobody appeared to run. Donaldson will hustle into second. Everybody kind of looked at each other. Dozier, Plouffe, and Torrey Hunter all looking at each other thinking somebody else would catch it, and Donaldson ends up at second with a double.
Remember Plouffe, there he is over there at first base. Plouffe with just his 9th game there. And he's not going to catch this ball. Too tough for him out of his range. He's not going to be able to get that one. Plouffe, this is just his 6th start. Dozier was pulled over in the shift. So was Torrey Hunter. So a double down the line is a gift for the Blue Jays.
That hit very reminiscent of Tulowitzki's hit in the 8th inning that got a big run home. Now Bautista. Jose had a big hit in that 7th inning yesterday. Had a ground rule double. It extended the Blue Jays lead to 3-0. Ball and a strike. Bautista has always enjoyed hitting against Minnesota.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what ballpark, even Target Field, which is a big ballpark, and here Jose has put up some big numbers. How about 45 games and 20 home runs for Jose against Minnesota?
Bautista has 2 home runs against today's starter Santana, albeit when he was pitching with other ball clubs. Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout, and that'll be out of play. The numbers from the homestand for Bautista. He is starting to show signs that he's on the verge of putting together a pretty good run here.
He came up with a big hit yesterday on a ball over the center fielder's head for a double. That's what you need. You need those big hits. Jose delivered yesterday.
Popped up into shallow left field. The shortstop Escobar, battling the sun, makes the play. Bautista's retired. Bright sun here this afternoon, so the defenders are really going to have to communicate to one another. You got to let the others know if you don't have a beat on the baseball, you got to put your arms out to the side to say, I don't see it.
And then you need the communication too, I think, Buck, where your teammates are telling you, hey, back or in. Something like that. Maybe you can pick it back up. And if you've got sunglasses, put them on.
Edwin Encarnacion is on a hot streak. He's reached base safely 2 or more times in 7 straight games. 2 outs. He pops this one up. The pop-ups would suggest Santana's got a little extra skip on his fastball early on.
I've seen some 95s already today. Fastball is good. They're hitting 265 against them. It's the slider. He's using the slider a little bit more this season. He's having a little bit more success with his slider. Remember, he came from the National League where you could challenge a little bit more. Over there with the pitcher spot, he's throwing a little bit more changeups and sliders this season.
Another pop up, 94 straight back.
Against that changeup, batters are hitting just 111 and the slider just 180. But it looks like he's trying to establish that fastball here in the first inning.
You better be careful where you establish it. Santana 3-3 in this ballpark. There's a breaking ball that missed. It's 2-2 to Encarnacion. These are great battles when hitters have a lot of at-bats against a particular pitcher. Encarnacion 18 ABs against Santana. Off the end of the bat. 2-2. Scoreless. We're in the bottom of the first. David Price in his first start as a Blue Jay. 3 up, 3 down in the first with a couple of strikeouts. He is 3-0 against Minnesota this season. In the dirt. Kurt Suzuki behind the plate with a good block. Santana's thrown 22 pitches this inning. It's not uncommon for a starter to struggle against the Blue Jays in the first inning. They've got a lot of patient hitters.
And that's nothing new that we have seen this year. Pitchers just trying to feel out the Jays, trying to find that breaking ball, and they make them work.
Justin Smoke in the 5th spot this afternoon. Outside. Encarnacion will take the walk. Smoke is at first base batting 5th. He's had a good run against Santana. He is 7 for 21, a .333 average with a home run against Santana. The Blue Jays have 5 hitters with 10 or more home runs. Smoke's got 9. Two on, 2 outs. With Smoke at first base, the Blue Jays have their best infield defense they've had in years.
I can't agree with you more. And it's important to play a good defense in these tight ball games.
0-2. Santana ahead quickly.
That's a little bit different than what Justin Smoke has seen from the last couple of teams that they have faced. They have started him off with a lot of change-ups and breaking balls. That time Santana starts him off with a couple of fastballs.
There's a slider and misses down and in. Blue Jays had their 5th sellout of the season yesterday, and they have been sold out here this afternoon. 1-2. High pop to left. Rosario, the left fielder, coming in now. Smoke pops out to the left fielder. The Blue Jays strand a pair. David Price and Santana both putting up zeros in the first.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Second inning here in Rogers Center, and the Price is ours. For the time being, David Price in his first start as a Blue Jay. Retired to sign an order in the first. He'll work to Miguel Sano, the 22-year-old slugger. He is the DH this afternoon, normally a third baseman. How about a 22-year-old as your cleanup hitter?
And slugger, you were right. A couple of years ago, he sat out last year with an injury. A couple of years ago, 35 home runs and over 100 RBIs, and he's big. He is listed at 6'4", 260 pounds at just 22 years old.
Had Tommy John surgery and missed the entire season last year. Hits this one off the end of the bat. Tulowitzki, it's short. Throws him out. Let's check in with Hazel May.
Buck, yesterday after his workout, I asked David Price whether he had butterflies thinking about today's start, and he said, you know what, I'm always nervous the day before he pitches because he cares so much about what happens on that mound. He says he's worked so hard to get to where he's at that nerves is just part of the deal. And when I told him, what's it going to feel like pitching in front of 50,000 strong at Rogers Center and hundreds of thousands watching on television, he said it is so cool to have an entire country rallying behind you. Buck.
Hazel, thank you very much. And David Price has been overwhelmed by his reception here in Toronto. He has been surprised as he makes his way around town, having dinner, moving around. He said the people have been terrific. Everybody comes up to me and says, "Hey, welcome to Toronto. Great to have you here." He said, "I've never experienced anything like that."
How about when he walked out here to go get warmed up for the ball game? He's getting standing ovation.
He hit the field at 12:12 this afternoon, and everybody reacted as soon as they saw him. 0-2. Torrey Hunter reaches for it, down and away.
12-12 is a little early, isn't it, for a pitcher to go out there? Usually you'll see him go out there maybe 20 minutes before, 25 minutes before the scheduled start of the ball game. David was out there probably a full half hour before pitchers normally get ready.
Yeah, most pitchers will go down there about 12:35, 12:40 for a 1 o'clock game. Hunter lays off that pitch, and it's 1-2. Quite a battle, veteran Torrey Hunter. This is his 117th game against the Blue Jays, against David Price. Trying to come inside. Hunter hits it high and deep to left. Ben Revere back at the draw. At wall, it is gone. Torrey Hunter takes David Price deep here in the second. His 17th home run of the season, and his second career home run against David Price.
Price has had his success against Hunter in the past. He struck him out 8 times in those 32 at bats, but that time he just left a fastball up out over the plate. Looked like he was trying to cut that ball on the inner half, and it stayed up and it stayed in the middle. And Price not happy with the results of that pitch.
Didn't quite get it where he wanted it, and Torrey Hunter is having an exceptional year in his return to Minnesota. Puts the Twins up. This is Eddie Rosario, and boy, is he a good-looking young hitter in his rookie season, batting .283. A lot of the veteran coaches and broadcasters have been around the Twins. Talk about how Rosario reminds them of Rod Carew. The way the bat head stays in the hitting zone so long.
And how quick it is getting through that strike zone. Last 8 games he's been doing. He almost came up with a cycle the other day.
David Price gets ahead 1-2. Thursday, Rosario was a single shy of the cycle. Just 23 years old. He is from Puerto Rico. Rosario needed a single in his final at bat on Thursday.
And watch how close he comes to getting it. He's already had the double, triple, and home run, and this looks like a short single, but he is robbed of that base hit, so he will not get the cycle.
He's had multiple hits in 7 of his last 11 games. Fouls that one off, and you can see how well he uses his hands. He doesn't really commit, and he'll take the barrel of that bat right to the baseball.
And if you're wondering when the last cycle was for the Minnesota Twins, 2009, May of 2009, that was Michael Kadire had a cycle for Minnesota. Rosario thought he had one.
Price strikes him out. 3 strikeouts for David Price.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
So with 2 outs, Aaron Hicks, the center fielder, will step in. Boy, the Twins have a bunch of good-looking young players, and Hicks is one of them, a center fielder that can go get them.
They have a kid named Byron Buxton, ranked the #1 minor league player in all of baseball, who is injured right now, but they had just brought him up to the big leagues.
Paul Molitor, the former Blue Jay, in his first year as the manager of the Twins. The Twins got off to a 1-6 start before they bounced back from that shaky start for Molitor. One and one, fouled straight back. Hicks is a switch hitter, batting right-handed against Price. He's hit well against David Price in limited at bats. He has 4 hits in 10 ABs. Swinging a hot bat over his last 9. David Price, after the home run, strikes out Rosario and Aaron Hicks. Torrey Hunter takes Price deep. The Twins have a 1-0 lead. David Price bounces back and strikes out Hicks to end the top of the second. Good fastball, blows it by Hicks, up and away.
By Boston Pizza. Saturday, August 15th, the Blue Jays host the New York Yankees at 107. Join us pregame outside Gate 10 for inflatables, activities, and lots of fun. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. For more information, call 416-341-1234, or as always, check in with BlueJays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And the youngsters have already been impacted by David Price, of course. He's got one of those iconic names. Everybody knows who David Price is. And when it was announced the Blue Jays had acquired David Price, that young fan improvised with a Blue Jays jersey, put the Price name and a number on it, and then David Price picked up on that on Twitter, got in touch with those boys and sent them each a jersey, an authentic David Price Blue Jays jersey. David Price gets it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's very aware of his surroundings. He's around him and then picked up on that. That's how you make a name for yourself when you come to a new city.
Russell Martin strikes out on Santana's slider. First out of the bottom of the second. Ryan Goins moved up to the 7th spot in the order against Santana. Goins at the plate. Pilar on deck. 1-0 Minnesota on the Torrey Hunter home run. Torrey Hunter in a return to the Twins at 40 years old has had a big year. This ball is smoked. Deep center field. Get up. Oh, God. Ryan Goins, his 3rd home run of the season. And it doesn't make any difference where you are in the Blue Jays lineup. They've got pop.
Gibbons playing a hunch right there, saying Goins, he's had 3 at-bats against Urban Santana. He's had 1 hit. You know what? I think I'm going to put that lefty ahead of Kevin Pilar this afternoon, and it's paid off.
So just like that, it's a tie ball game. Goins hits the 140th home run for the Blue Jays this season.
Looked like a fastball from Santana right down Broadway. And there it goes.
Little slider tapped foul off the bat of Pilar.
Nogo got all of that one.
Good sound off the bat. Head into that first row of seats in deep center field. RBI number 27 for Goins. Inside to Pilar. 2-1 to the Blue Jays center fielder Kevin Pilar, batting .267 for the season. The slider looped into center. Dozier out. It's over his head. A base hit for Pilar. Got enough of that slider to flare it over the second baseman's head. Little Texas leaguer.
Well, once he fell behind, he choked up on the bat. You could see it right there. He got the slider. A little bit more back control. He's able to cover the outside part of the plate and get it just out of the reach of Brian Dozier for a hit. There he is up on that bat now, just trying to not strike out. And he makes contact.
That snaps an 0 for 10 for Pilar. And he'll take it. One out now. Number 9 hitter is Ben Revere. He shows bunt, pulls the bat back. Ben Revere has put up good numbers against Santana. 6 for 13, a .462 average. For the season, in 72 games, Revere is batting .292. Ben Revere's got a good eye, and he learned it playing with the Minnesota Twins. Spent 3 years in Minnesota, played 254 games for the Twins, and hit .278 while in Minnesota.
And don't you think he would like to do something damage-wise against his former team?
3-0. Once again, we mentioned Tulowitzki playing in his 6th game. This is the value of having him hit first.
Yeah, he is one pitch away if he ends up walking. Then you got Tulowitzki hitting with a couple of guys on. And he will.
Second walk issued by Santana. First and second. One out. Tulowitzki coming to the plate. And the value of this second at bat with runners on, he's already seen Santana. Tulu and Price, a pretty good combination for Alex Anthopoulos before the trade deadline. Troy Tulowitzki with Pilar at second and Revere at first. Tulowitzki on the season batting .302. Popped up. Plouffe battling the sun in foul territory. He'll make the catch. Tulowitzki is retired. Another pop-up from Santana. As we mentioned, he's got a little extra skip on that ball up in the zone.
He's been popping up some low pitches also. We saw that the other day by the Blue Jays against Johnny Cueto.
Josh Donaldson dropped a fly ball down the right side in the no man's land in right for a double in the first. His 29th double of the season. Breaking ball inside.
Fans are reacting to that, Buck, but that was a ball that was intended to go down and away to Josh Donaldson. Santana just lost the grip of that ball, and it ended up and in.
Donaldson coming into this game has hit .340 at Rogers Center. Donaldson wondering Why that's a strike now when it wasn't in his first at bat?
I tell you, this is a tough lineup. You can just see the pitchers just really getting worn down the longer the game goes on against Toronto.
Same spot, same results.
That's a perfect pitch. Two perfect pitches, I thought, from Irvin Santana. They're just unhittable. Not much you can do with that. Now the pitch would be a slider. Down and away as a hitter, you're geared up for that. You're looking for something out there. Is he going to go with that fastball one more time? He's got to throw him a slider down and away now.
He overcooked that slider and threw it in the dirt. 2-2 to Bautista. Suzuki, a master of blocking those balls in the dirt.
He's quick. He's low. He stays low. He just shuffles his feet, goes over there, and just tries to keep that ball in front of him, and does.
Donaldson drove in 7 runs in the Royals series over the course of the 4 games. This time he strikes out. But the 2 ball clubs have exchanged solo home runs. Torrey Hunter in the top of the 2nd. Ryan Goins in the bottom. A 1-out home run. Goins' 3rd of the season. It's a 1-1 game.
Head. Well, celebrate the 30th anniversary of the 1985 AL East Division Championship. First 20,000 fans will receive the alumni bobblehead. That's Sunday, August 16th, when the Blue Jays face the AL East leading Yankees at 1:07 Eastern. Don't forget to just call 416-341-1234 for more information or visit BlueJays.com.
Hazel, that's going to be a great weekend. They're going to acknowledge the first division championship in franchise history, 1985. Of course, Bell, Barfield, and Mosby were a big part of that. Brant Smoleniks is here today as part of a Blue Jays clinic that will start tomorrow. He's going to come back for the 85 celebration. I know Dave Steeb's coming in as well. Garth Orge, a lot of the former Blue Jays will be here that weekend. And a big part of it is that bobblehead that will be given away on Sunday.
That'll be fun. You get to see a lot of your old teammates, huh?
Should be a lot of fun. Of course, Dave Steeb, in my estimation, the best pitcher that ever pitched for the Blue Jays. Here's the 1-1 to Suzuki. This ball is fought off and flared into the seats down the right side.
I never faced Roy Halladay, but I faced Dave Steeb.
Yeah.
And I'll echo your sentiments right there. He was really good.
Well, hopefully in about 5 or 6 years we can say David Price and Dave Steeb were the 2 best pitchers in Blue Jays franchise history. That would be a nice ending to this great week. 1-2, nobody out. Suzuki, the catcher, batting in the 8th spot. Kurt Suzuki was born in Hawaii. He played college ball at Cal State Fullerton. He's had a nice career. Just off the plate. Full count, leadoff man here in the third. It's a 1-1 game. Price gave up a 1-out home run to Torrey Hunter, Hunter's 17th of the season. Also his 17th career home run against the Blue Jays. Fly ball to the alley in right center. Pillar's not going to get it. It's going to bounce up and over the wall in right. A ground rule double for Kurt Suzuki, his 12th double of the season. This Twins team is a very good fastball hitting ball club.
It's a good hitting club, period. I think this team, they don't strike out a lot. They make contact. They use the whole field. They don't have a ton of power, but they can hit.
They've hit 91 home runs on the season, including that home run by Hunter this afternoon. That's 11th in the American League. Leadoff man's aboard with the double. Eduardo Escobar. Squares to bunt and bunts it in the air. Somebody's got to catch it, and Martin does. David Price was right there at home plate just in case, but Russell Martin catches the failed bunt attempt. Well, we know David Price is got a lot of admirers around baseball, and how about this? This is Marcus Stroman at Duke University, finishing up his classes this week. Now the professor's holding court up there. He's on the chalkboard. Marcus has got his computer out, but he's also got his phone there, and he's watching the ball game. Marcus, pay attention, will you? You got to pass the final this week to get your graduation completed. But Marcus is watching down at Duke.
Do you blame him?
Not at all.
Not at all. You got to be watching David Price and the Blue Jays. And here's another message. As soon as you're done down there, Marcus, come on and see us. Here, we need you. We need you around the ball club.
Brian Dozier was a strikeout victim in the first. Suzuki at second with 1 out. Ball on the strike to the Twins second baseman. Price, over his last 4 starts against Minnesota, has gone 4-0. That goes into last season. He made his first start of the year on opening day in Detroit against the Twins. That's an off-speed pitch hooked into the seats. He's really had the Twins number over those last 4 starts. And you look at what he has done, and it's an impressive line.
It's pretty impressive. 30 innings. He's only given up 20 hits. They're hitting .211 with runners in scoring position, just attacking that strike zone. He's only given up 3 earned runs to Minnesota. They know all about David Price. You know, you watch the films and you watch the video of him. They know he likes to use that fastball away. He's done a good job of staying with it so far today.
Has that good fastball. Another strikeout for Price. He gets Dozier for a second time this afternoon. That is 5 strikeouts for Price.
That one looked like it might have cut just a little bit. You see that ball almost like a slider. It's not. Watch this ball on the outside part of the plate. It just cuts back underneath the bat of Dozier. Second time that he has gotten the All-Star second baseman.
Eduardo Nunez playing at third base this afternoon. Nunez is a free swinger. He loves to swing the bat. 270 at the start of play this afternoon.
We saw him when he was with the Yankees, and he's swinging as soon as he steps into that batter's box.
Bounces this one to Smoke. He will flip to Price. The inning is over. David Price pitches around the leadoff double. Suzuki never moves from second as Price retires Dozier and Nunez to end the inning. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Smoke.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Jose Bautista will lead things off here in the bottom of the third. It's a 1-1 ball game. Torrey Hunter with a solo home run, his 17th. Ryan Goins matched that home run in the bottom of the second for Goins' home run number 3. Bautista popped out to the shortstop his first time up. Upstairs, 2-0.
They are really making him work, aren't they?
He's already thrown 49 pitches as he starts the third inning. Bautista pulls it just outside the bag at third.
27 in the first inning, 20 more in the second inning. He's already left 4 runners on base, pitching around some base runners.
For Santana, he was not added to the roster until the 5th of July. He had to serve that suspension for failing the drug test. He signed as a free agent last year with the Braves. He signed a 4-year contract in December with the Twins. Bautista gets under it. Rosario, the left fielder, waits, and it finally comes down. 1 down.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for Santana. Irvin Santana, he's been around a long time, and he has been a very good pitcher for a long time. He'll use that fastball 54% of the time, and he'll place it at 93 miles an hour. He moves it in and out. He's got the slider at 35% of the time. The changeup 11. We mentioned the changeup has been a good pitch for him. They're only hitting a $111 against that. The slider just 180. Smart. Won 14 games last year for Atlanta.
This is his first start in the month of August, and Santana has always pitched well in August. This is his 54th career start in August. He comes into this game with a 24-12 record in August. And that's what you want from a veteran pitcher, the ability to pitch big games down the stretch.
Oh, he did that for years with the Los Angeles Angels. Spent some time in Kansas City.
He left the Angels organization in the club's all-time top 10s in wins. He was 7th, had 96 wins for the Angels. There's a strike. It's 3-1 to Double E. Smoke, the first baseman, is on deck. That breaking ball started off the plate inside.
And Eddie's saying, throw me another one like that. I think it surprised him. He thought that that was going to go around the plate.
Off the end of the bat, Dozier was playing on the shortstop side of second. He makes the play, 2 down. For Santana, we mentioned it's only his 6th start of the season, but he has pitched well on the road compared to pitching at Target Field in Minnesota.
Which is surprising because Target Field is a pitcher's ballpark, big ballpark. But the opposition there is hitting .356 compared to .146 on the road. And he's only given up 1 home run on the road.
Drew Hutchison will start here on Wednesday. It'll be Marco Estrada tomorrow for the Blue Jays, Hutchison on Wednesday, and Burley will wrap up the series on Thursday. Ball and a strike to the Blue Jays first baseman. Smoke thought that might have been down. Changeup off the plate, too much run. Another pop-up, this one on the left side of the infield. That's the shortstop, Escobar, as he's there, makes the catch. The Blue Jays go quietly in the third. It's been quite an afternoon for David Price, his first start in a Blue Jay uniform. He will come back to start the fourth. It's a 1-1 game. Price with 5 strikeouts.
And get play-by-play updates, batter hit zone charts, and real-time win percentage live during every MLB game. Access the MLB Live Tracker by clicking on any baseball game matchup on sportsnet.ca/MLB Live Tracker or through the SN app during the game. Buck.
Thank you, Hazel. It's a 1-1 game as Trevor Plouffe takes a strike to begin the fourth. Plouffe is playing at first base today. Only his 6th start at first. He has been the regular third baseman, but Michael Sano has come up and taken over the majority of the work there lately.
No Joe Mauer, which is okay with David Price, the lefty on the mound. Mauer just kills the Blue Jays.
He doesn't do well against David Price. He's just 6 for 34, so that probably leads to his day off today. That's a 176 average for one of the best hitters in the game. Boy, that's a pretty good pitch. That cutter came back and just missed the outside corner. Plouffe's got some power. He has 14 home runs for the season. Drives this ball to the alley. That's going to get down and bounce off the wall. Right at the base of the wall in right field as Bautista gets it back in. Trevor Plouffe with a leadoff double here in the fourth.
Identical type of pitch, identical type of swing and result. Like the Suzuki at bat to start last inning. Pitch down and away instead of trying to pull it. You got to go with this pitch. If you try and pull this ball, you are going to be an out. Trevor Plouffe, good piece of hitting there for a double.
25th double for Plouffe. Third hit for Minnesota so far. This is young Miguel Sano. Sano is just 22 years old. He turned 22 in May. He grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. The Twins have always done a great job of signing young players, developing young talent, especially position players. You go back to Jacques Jones and Torrey Hunter and Kirby Puckett, Kent Herbeck and Gary Gaetti. I mean, it goes on and on and on.
Just keep going. They've done it for years and years and years.
Big swing from Sano.
And the next wave is this kid here. Torrey Hunter at one time was one of those guys, those young players developed through their farm system. Justin Morneau was another one. Brian Buxton, who was here.
LaTroy Hawkins came through the system with the Twins.
And Revere, Bernard Span. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Good, solid major leaguers.
Sano with a mighty cut. 96, best fastball of the afternoon from Price.
See what he finishes up with this. After that fastball, he got Sano last time to roll over on changeup to the shortstop. That might be the pitch of record right here now with 2 strikes after that fastball.
Price in agreement with Martin. Little extra on that fastball, came out of his delivery and missed upstairs. Of course, David Price came into pro ball with the Tampa Bay Rays under the guidance of Jim Hickey, who always emphasizes fastball command and changing speeds. Price wanted that one, so did Martin. Just a little bit off the plate. We mentioned Tim Timmons' strike zone has been tight all afternoon. It's been consistently tight. 3-2, nobody out. Plouffe at second with the leadoff double. Josh Donaldson, the third baseman, is really hugging the line at third. Tulowitzki straight away. You can see Donaldson just a step away from the line. Outside, first 2 reach here in the fourth. First walk issued by Price. Now he'll deal with Torrey Hunter, who homered in the second.
Looked like he was trying to cut a fastball on the inner half against Torrey Hunter. He just left it up and out over the plate. Torrey Hunter, he's been around forever. Homers for the 17th time this season. If you've watched his career, you've seen that a few times. Still quick on the inner half.
40 years old now. Hunter still productive. He's late on that fastball as Price dialed it up a notch. 97. Torrey hit .304 last year in the second half of the season for the Tigers, which was encouraging for Minnesota, thinking about bringing him back.
And this is the only place he wanted to play, right? He wanted to go back home and finish off his career where it started with the Minnesota Twins. And he has meant a lot to this team.
He's been a great mentor. Plus this year he's been very productive. His home run was his 348th home run of his career. Price misses outside, 2-1. Price's velocity is up from his last start against Tampa Bay. He was pitching at 94 most of the time, and we have seen him hit 97 a couple of times here today. A little bit of extra adrenaline, you can bet. He's taking it from this crowd here.
A little excited right now. He's got to get back into the moment. Needs to make a pitch right here. 3-1.
3-1 to Torrey Hunter. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Price with 5 strikeouts this afternoon. Eddie Rosario is on deck. Back-to-back walks out of load the bases. So Russell Martin's going to go out and have a little chat with David Price right here. Tulowitzki will come in from shortstop as well. Price, of course, has plenty of experience in getting out of these tough situations. A leadoff double, back-to-back walk, still nobody out. Rosario struck out in the second. First pitch fouled back. This is where Blue Jays need a strikeout or a pop-up. Get that first out of the inning. Plouffe started it. Trevor Plouffe with the leadoff double. Sano walked, as did Torrey Hunter. The bases are loaded.
Everything goes. Right-handers were away, away, away. Now he gets the first lefty this inning. Let's see how he handles that.
Pretty good pitch. Didn't get the call.
Well, I'll tell you, the home plate umpire really makes you throw a strike. Ball was right on the borderline, and it's called off the plate.
Quite a reversal from what we saw yesterday from Jim Wolf, who had a very liberal strike zone. Popped up. Shallow center field. Tulowitzki going out. He makes the catch. He turns and fires, and there's the pop-up. Nice play by Tulowitzki. Pilar was deep. It didn't look like he was going to get there. Tulowitzki went out to center. Made the catch over his shoulder.
You know, as a runner at third base, you're taught on a pop-up like this to go halfway because it's not deep enough to score. You can see the runner Plouffe take off. But a fine play by Tulowitzki, and then the wheeling throw, a seed back in here to the infield. Calls off Goins, and Pilar makes the catch, and then plants and throws as Price likes that easy, goes to back up. So the runner cannot score.
Well, Tulowitzki made a fine catch and then made a perfect throw right to the cutoff man in the middle of the diamond. Smoke had come across from first. Now Aaron Hicks, a strikeout victim in the second. That's a strike. That cutter catches the outside corner. He reaches for it. Price is ahead 0-2.
Boy, that's the value of getting ahead strike one. You can expand that strike zone. If it's ball one, 1-0, that last pitch right there, he's not swinging at it. But because he got ahead with one strike, 0-1, he expands the strike zone, and now he's way ahead.
Many pitchers will tell you that they don't pitch for strikeouts. That's not the case here. You don't want Hicks to put the ball in play, especially in the air. David Price makes a perfect pitch on the outside corner. Hicks strikes out for a second time.
You know, he went four-seam fastball with 2 strikes just off the plate, and then comes back with that cutter just enough for Hicks to give up on it, thinking it was a four-seamer again, and David Price enjoys that. That's a pretty good pitch. 2 down.
A tempered celebration, to be sure. 2 outs, bases remain loaded. Kurt Suzuki double to the wall in right center. His first time up. Another cutter at 94. That is a tough pitch. You see it so far off the plate as a right-handed hitter, and then the break takes it back over the corner.
Tough to hit it, tough to pick it up. Suzuki made the adjustment last time on another pitch out there when he drove that ball to right field. That's why I think at some point you have to go in.
Here they come. They wanted it in further than that, but at 97 you can get away with mistakes.
And up just like that. Was much better, in a much better place. You can see Suzuki, he's looking out there again. He knows where David Price wants to go. And they did a good job of cutting that ball in the inner half. That was a weak swing. I'd do it again. They're back in there.
Over the screen, Suzuki got to a tough pitch.
Paul Molitor's team is making it tough on the Blue Jays and David Price this afternoon. Fouling off some good pitches, working the count.
It seems as though that inside part of the plate is where you need to go. Suzuki's covering that outside pitch.
He's looking for that ball out there. Just look how he has fouled off those 2 tough pitches from Price. Maybe you can get that fastball in there and he takes it. You lock him up, you freeze him, or you get a weak swing.
first.
Boy, that cutter just swept right off of the plate.
David's parents in attendance here, and they are standing on their feet just like the rest of the crowd. Full house here on this holiday Monday.
This is the pitch right here. Want to get him right here.
He got it! David Price strikes out Suzuki. Bases loaded, nobody out. Tulowitzki makes a fine catch on a pop-up in center, and then David Price takes over. He strikes out Aaron Hicks and Kurt Suzuki to leave the bases loaded. David Price pitching out of a tough jam in the fourth.
Friday Fan Festival. Our Summer Friday Fan Festival is presented by Bacardi. Are back Friday, August 14th. Blue Jays and Yankees, 7:07 start. Pre-game festival outside Gate 10. Gates will open at 4:30 Eastern, and enjoy a live performance by Monster Truck in the licensed area. Call 416-341-1234 or visit BlueJays.com. Say that fast 5 times, Buck.
Oh, I have trouble saying it once, Hazel.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Russell Martin takes the first pitch from Santana, low for a ball. Some of the Blue Jays coaches were a little concerned about a letdown after the intensity of the 4-game Kansas City Royals series. David Price made sure there's no letdown. Bases loaded, nobody out, and he got out of it.
You know, and that's a legitimate concern, I think, for coaches and players and everybody after that 4-game intense battle and the way things unfolded yesterday, that there might be a little letdown this afternoon.
Russell Martin reaches out, pokes it to right. The Gold Glover Torrey Hunter makes a knee-high grab. 1 down. That'll bring Ryan Goins to the plate. With 1 out in the second, he stepped to the plate with the Blue Jays down by 1.
Made some adjustments in his swing where he gets that bat right off of his shoulder and then takes it right back to the umpire. That'll help him stay level and help keep the bat in the strike zone a little bit longer and help you drive the ball. And we just saw Ryan drive that ball out of here for his 3rd home run. Got the Blue Jays even in the bottom of the second.
The Blue Jays are tied with the Orioles, 1 game out of the wild card spot. The Angels in Minnesota are tied for the 2 wild card spots. Orioles and Blue Jays right behind them. The Angels have fallen upon hard times. They've lost 6 straight and lost 9 of their last 10. They have fallen to 4 back of the Astros in the West.
Didn't they take the lead at one point over the Astros?
They had the lead, yep.
Yeah, they were They were behind Houston, caught them, passed them, and now they're 4 games back.
And they lost C.J. Wilson probably for the season to an arm issue. Upstairs, 3-1 to Goins. The second wild card spot has done marvelous things for baseball. It's created so many opportunities around baseball in both leagues. Paul Molitor knows what it is to go to the postseason. He did that with Milwaukee and with the Blue Jays. Right now there are 8 teams within 3.5 games of the wild card spots in the American League.
Yeah, only 2 of them are going to go. 2 of those 8 teams. That's not counting the division leaders right there. 8 for
in
2
the
spots.
National League there are 5 within 2.5. So Bud Selig, the commissioner, was right when he implemented that second wild card berth. And there are many teams in the hunt.
How do you think that impacts the trade deadline?
It's dramatic. Everybody trying to improve their ball clubs, and all the teams have different concerns. So it really creates a lot of activity. Goins bounces at first baseman. Proof will try to hit Santana on the run, and he does. 2 down.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
So 1-1 ball game, bottom of the 4th here at Rogers Center. Mentioned the excitement of the rest of this season. 44 of the 57 prospects that were dealt ahead of the trade deadline on Friday were pitchers. .57 prospects overall were traded, and 6 of those 57 prospects were in Baseball America's top 50 prospects. The position players didn't move around. Teams value top prospect position players like Corey Seager of the Dodgers.
Yeah, he wasn't going to go anywhere, but I like the idea that the general managers, some of them gave away some of their top prospects, like the Blue Jays. Jeff Hoffman and Daniel Norris were their top pitching prospects, and they gave them away with a chance to try and win this year.
Yeah, but you know what? Prospects are prospects. Price and Tulowitzki have a track record.
Absolutely. Big leaguers who've taken home some hardware.
There's ball 4 to Pilar, a 2-out walk here in the 4th. This will be interesting now. With Santana on the mound, Pilar has 15 steals. Ben Revere has a terrific eye at the plate.
Give him a chance. Suzuki's only thrown out 11% of the base runners trying to steal against him this year. Just 6 for 55. Give him a chance to get into scoring position. If he gets thrown out, Ben Revere leads off next inning.
2 outs, short lead for Pilar as Santana falls behind Ben Revere. Revere walked in the 2nd. He's had success against Santana in the past. Hooks this one hard into the seats. Revere had a chance to say hi to a lot of his former teammates. We mentioned he spent 3 years in the big leagues with the Twins. That was his original ball club. Last 2.5 seasons spent in Philadelphia. And if you're not that familiar with Ben Revere, he led the National League in hits last year. And 184 hits.
He's got a good eye at the plate. He can run. He can handle the bat. And he'll take a pitch. If Kevin Pilar decides to take off, he'll take a pitch.
Pilar not going. Revere fouls it back. Identical line scores to this point of the ball game. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, and 4 left on base for both teams. Pilar was going. He got a little bit antsy with 2 strikes. It's a perfect time to gamble, and if I'm Minnesota, I'm going to pitch out on a 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, after what you just saw right there from Pilar, he's not getting a very big lead over there at first base. I mean, look how easily he's getting back. If you can go back on your feet like that, you don't have a big enough lead. You have to get 1 foot on that carpet and dive back. Then you have a good aggressive lead. That tells me he's not going. I wouldn't go.
Yeah, it looks like a one-way lead, and Santana's just giving him that pedestrian move to first.
Again, if he's got that short of a lead, don't go. You're going to get thrown out.
Not running. That's popped up the shortstop. Escobar has it. The inning is over. The Blue Jays get a 2-out walk and strand the base runner. It's 1-1. We'll head to the 5th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zong.
Every live Blue Jays game on TV and radio. For daily coverage, headlines, analysis, and schedule, visit sportsnet.ca/Blue Jays or join the conversation at Sportsnet.
Lots of experts can break everything down, and you can hear it if you check it out on sportsnet.ca. David Price pitched out of a bases-loaded, nobody-out situation in the 4th. He struck out Aaron Hicks and Kurt Suzuki to end the inning. Number 9 hitter is the shortstop, Eduardo Escobar.
Tell you, Buck, I'd like to see some easier innings from David Price because we'd see him a little bit longer this afternoon. Minnesota really made him work last inning.
Price has now thrown 76 pitches. That's number 77. Donaldson throws on the run in time. 1 down. Well, David Price, we mentioned how he likes pitching here at Rogers Center, and we'll show you the numbers that back it up.
You know, remember who he's pitching against here. He's made 9 career starts at Rogers Center. He's 7-0, and the earned run average is 3.86. He's pitching against the Toronto Blue Jays, who've had some great offensive teams here, and he's put up those sterling numbers. That tells me that David Price really rises to the occasion when he's facing good teams.
Back to the top of the order, Brian Dozier has struck out twice this afternoon. Oh, 1-1. Good changeup. Well, that's been a good pitch for him, and like so many great pitchers, they are constantly making adjustments. And Price, when he first came into the league, he could blow fastballs by anybody. And he had a little bit bigger breaking ball. But now he has added the changeup, and he understands its value.
And he's throwing it more and more in his career. There's another one.
Donaldson throws out Dozier. 2 ground ball outs.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Gorgeous Monday afternoon here at Rogers Center. 25 degrees at the start of play. David Price with 2 outs. Nunez shows bunt, takes it outside. Another benefit for David Price pitching for the Blue Jays. Doesn't have to face Jose Bautista. Bautista has 5 career home runs against Price. That's the most of any batter that David has faced in his career. Bautista has a knack for rising to the occasion. When you talk about David Price and John Lester, Bautista has hit more home runs than any batter against those 2 great left-handers.
Jose's a good fastball hitter. And those 2 pitchers you just mentioned, 2 pitchers that like to use their fastball a lot.
Ball and a strike to the third baseman. He goes around. Tried to check and went too far.
That's the advantage right there of throwing inside. You can't just keep pitching major league hitters away. You got to go inside one time. They do. That time up and in, and it gets the check swing called strike.
Price has been consistently able to throw that fastball in the upper 90s. Two and two, 2 outs. It's a 1-1 game. Both teams getting solo home runs in the second. For the Twins, the veteran Torrey Hunter, his 17th of the season. The Blue Jays second baseman Ryan Goins tied it up with his 3rd. Popped into the seats. Price has got to be a challenge for right-handed hitters because he's got weapons to cover both sides of the plate.
You know what I'm watching also and realizing is he's changing speeds a lot more. You mentioned that you saw a couple of 97s. Last inning, I've seen some 91s, 3s, 87s, 85s. I mean, they're all over the chart. That's what you want to do.
Changeup. Tulowitzki at short. In plenty of time. Price gets 3 ground ball outs in the 5th. It's a 1-1 game. Tulowitzki, Donaldson, Bautista, top of the order for the Jays.
comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are special guests of TD. While over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, we welcome guests from Whitby Challenger Baseball. Hope everybody's enjoying the ball game. Buck.
You got to enjoy this game, Hazel. It's a beautiful afternoon, and it's a great game. A couple of fine pitchers going toe-to-toe. It's a 1-1 ball game. It'll be top third of the Blue Jays order. Tulowitzki, Donaldson, and Bautista to face Irvin Santana. Breaking ball, hammered to the alley. Hicks is going to get over and cut it off. Tulowitzki jumps on that first pitch slider and gets aboard.
Tulowitzki in that leadoff spot, not wasting any time, recognizes that breaking ball from Santana and rifles a shot into left field. I was watching him that whole time thinking that he might try and stretch that, but he never took his eyes off of Hicks, the center fielder. Never. Realized he got over there and knows he's got a strong arm. Hicks has 7 outfield assists.
Donaldson has doubled and struck out.
When you watch Troy Tulowitzki like we have, look at him over the last couple of days, you realize he's a baseball player. He understands the game. He was thinking about it, but kept his eye on that guy right there and hit Aaron Hicks, the center fielder, realized he couldn't go.
You cannot assume a thing on the baseball field. If you assume it's going to be a routine single, you jog up the line, Hicks bobbles it. You miss the opportunity to get into scoring position.
The only time you should take your eyes off the player is when you're looking for the base.
This ball is driven deep to right. Get up, ball, get up, gone! Donaldson, a 2-run home run, his 27th to the opposite field.
Through one guy, there's another one right behind him who can hurt you. We have seen that from Josh Donaldson how many times this season. 27 home runs now, and David Price, his starters, loving it.
Bautista goes after that high slider. It's popped back over the screen and out of play.
7 times now, Josh Donaldson has homered to right field. He stays behind that ball and drives that ball over the fence. Just barely over the 375.
18 home runs for Donaldson hit here at Rogers Center. 18 of 27.
You know, if you're going to hit the ball out to right field, you got to let it get deep. He does. 4-seam fastball, head down, drive it out of here.
Bautista with a 1-2 count. There's a buzz in this stadium again. A sold-out crowd. First of 4 against the Twins. Bautista protecting that inside part of the plate. Drives the ball to left. Caught by Rosario.
I think they're making a conscious effort, the Minnesota Twins, to pitch him in, Jose, and play him to pull. They had 3 infielders on the left side. The outfield was pulled around, and Santana got in there. Ned Yost was talking after the game yesterday that the Blue Jays lean out over the plate, and you have to pitch him inside. I think you're doing them a favor if you pitch him inside. I really do.
And they're a very good fastball hitting ball club. Edwin Encarnacion has walked and grounded out. Go for 1. Bouncing ball. Nunez waits on it, fires in time. 2 down.
You know, we have constantly seen teams stay away from the power of the Blue Jays. If you start pitching them in and miss, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hit hard.
Santana has now given up 8 home runs in 6 starts this season. Goins in the second, a 2-run shot by Donaldson here in the 5th. First pitch changeup.
Buck, why is he pitching out of the stretch?
I don't know. It's the first time he's done that today.
I guess he feels more compact. I mean, but there's nobody on base for the Blue Jays.
Yeah. He's had base runners on in the 1st, 2nd, and 4th, and had a base runner on when Donaldson hit the home run. This ball is driven deep to left. Rosario's got room in front of the scoreboard. He makes the catch, but the Blue Jays will take a 3-1 lead. Josh Donaldson, a 2-run, a home run, his 27th of the season, will go to the 6th. Here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura, Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
The Blue Jays and the New York Yankees from the comfort of an Acura luxury suite at Rogers Center. Your single ticket includes hostess and food for only $150. Reserve your ticket before they're gone. Call 416-341-1635 for more information.
David Price set to start the 6th. It'll be Plouffe, Sano, and Hunter. Trevor Plouffe goes after the first pitch. Another changeup from David Price. 1 out. David Price was drafted in 2004 by the Dodgers in the 19th round. He chose to go to Vanderbilt. And this is the coach Tim Corbin's assessment of David Price in the spring of 2007, Price's junior year. He said, David's continued to get better every year and figures to be one of the top pitchers in college baseball. He is the consummate team player who thrives on his teammates' success. That's interesting because to me that's still David Price.
He hasn't changed one bit from his college days at Vanderbilt. That's 2007. He's the same guy. He loves the game of baseball. He cares about his teammates. You see him cheerleading, doing everything he can to help his team win. I'll tell you, Blue Jays, they have done a really good job of getting guys who fit into that team concept.
Character guys. Tim Corbin began his coaching career at Vanderbilt in 2003. And he's had 9 players taken in the first round. Sano chases that changeup. Another strikeout for Price. 8. Ben Revere grew up in the Twins organization. The Blue Jays needed a left fielder, a left-handed bat, and some speed. He fits the bill.
Yeah, and a good person too, a classy kid who's going to come to the ballpark. You can count on him every day.
That's bunted by Torrey Hunter. A little sheepish grin down to third to Donaldson. So if you play me back, I'll take a shot to get on base.
Does Josh Donaldson love to play the game of baseball or what? He was playing deep, and Torrey turned around and bunted like that, and he had a dead sprint almost all the way to home plate. You know, just showing Torrey that, hey, I can cover a lot of ground too.
There's a whole lot of baseball players on this field in this series. Off the end of the bat, Hunter is behind 0-2. Some of David Price's teammates at Vanderbilt, Pedro Alvarez of the Pirates, Ryan Flaherty of the Orioles, Mike Minor, left-handed pitcher with the Braves. They've had some talent.
And whatever they're doing down there, somebody should bottle it up, because they've had a whole lot of success.
Popped up down the right side, long run for Smoke. This ball is going to hit on the warning track and bounce out of play. To give you an idea, we mentioned 9 players picked out of Vanderbilt in the first round. 7 of those have been pitchers. Jeremy Sowers in 2004, Price in 2007, Casey Weathers in 2007, Mike Minor in 2008, Sonny Gray in 2011, and Grayson Gavin in 2011 as well.
How about Tyler Beatty?
Tyler Beatty was taken last year or 2 years ago by the Giants.
He was a Vanderbilt pitcher.
0-2 to Torrey Hunter. Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead. Jays have gotten a couple of home runs in support of David Price. Checking on the count to make sure it's 1-2. Donaldson's 2-run home run, the difference in this game. Cohen's tied it up. Hunter strikes out. Strikeout number 9 for David Price, much to the delight of this full house. Price has got plenty of fastball today. He goes upstairs against Torrey Hunter and strikes him out.
Work tonight, Evan Longoria and the Rays head to the south side of Chicago to face Alexi Ramirez and the White Sox. That's tonight on Sportsnet, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Buck.
Hey, so that's another game with wild card implications. Tampa Bay is 3 games back in the wild card race, while the White Sox are 3.5 back. It'll be Nathan Carnes for Tampa Bay against Jose Quintana. That's coming up later on the network. Ground ball off the bat of Russell Martin. Right up the middle. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 6th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Ryan Goins, one of 2 home runs the Jays have hit this afternoon. His home run came in the second to tie the score at 1-1. Minnesota has lost 6 of their last 8 games, 14 of 16. Been a tough little stretch for the Minnesota Twins. Goins has his second hit of the afternoon. Stayed on that pitch and drilled it to center.
Yeah, since the All-Star break, Minnesota 5-10. They're only scoring 3.5 runs a game. Ryan Goins is getting a chance now with Devin Travis on the disabled list. He's going to be the everyday second baseman. Take advantage of it. He's homered and now single in this ball game.
Kevin Pillar has singled and walked. Takes one downstairs. Boy, this is a great opportunity to play hit and run right here. They're shading Pillar up the middle. There's a big gap between the first baseman and the second baseman, Dozier.
Count is in his favor.
Not running. Ball in the dirt. 2-0.
Pillar is choked up again. Last time he did that, he singled to center field. Just a little bit more back control against a tough right-hander in Irvin Santana.
Two and one now. Twins think that the Blue Jays might play hit and run here.
You throw over there like that, like Santana just did, just to see if that base runner is going to flinch, and it looked like Ryan Goins flinched just a little bit, like he was on the move.
This is popped up down the right side. That's going to reach the seats out of play.
You know, and if a manager sees that, he's inclined that if they did have something on, they'll take it off.
First base coach Tim Leeper whispering some instructions to Goins. Goins has shortened up his lead now. Popped up behind home plate. Suzuki has room. And he makes the catch. Pillar pops out to the catcher. 2 down now. Ben Revere is 0 for 8 so far in his tenure with the Blue Jays. He had a sacrifice fly in yesterday's game. That sac fly came in the 8th inning to give the Blue Jays a little cushion.
You know, you can watch him, though. We watched him the last couple of days, and each at bat, I think he's getting a little bit more comfortable.
He talked about his excitement of joining the Blue Jays in what everybody interprets as a pennant race. Of course, coming from the last place Philadelphia Phillies with the worst record in baseball. He gained an awful lot of games in the standings, and he's excited to be here.
There is nothing like going from last place to a team that has a chance to get into the playoffs. Everybody is wired.
May have broken his bat, and that ball is foul. He'll get a new bat. And Revere's skill set really matches up perfectly with a good ball club. He's got speed. He's got range in the outfield. He can get on base. He makes contact. He can play hit and run for you. All the little things that you want on a good team, Revere provides.
Yeah, and you don't have to be the guy, if you will, at the top of the lineup. Just do the things that you are good at, that you are capable of. Play the game of baseball.
This ball is hit deep Torrey Hunter is back. The ball is caught by Hunter. And Torrey, not sure how many outs there were, made the catch. Revere hit it hard, but to the right fielder. Blue Jays leave a base runner. And we'll go to the seventh. David Price with a 3-1 lead. Back out to face the Twins. Rosario, Hicks, and Suzuki.
Series finale versus the Royals, and Aaron Sanchez, who was ejected for hitting a batter, was in the middle of all that ruckus. I asked him today whether he thought that incident really galvanized the team and brought the team closer together. He said absolutely, that's what we're trying for guys to support each other in a playoff-like atmosphere. Manager John Gibbons told me that in all the years he's been in this game, that kind of situation has never hurt a team. It always helps a team, especially when you've got new faces in the ball club. Buck.
Hazel, that's 100% true. You got a lot of new guys, and you don't really know how they're going to respond when the bench is empty, but it was good to see everybody out there, newcomers and holdovers alike.
And you won the ball game, which could really galvanize the team.
This is Eddie Rosario, the left fielder. He has gone 0 for 2 so far. Rosario was at the plate in the 4th inning with the bases loaded and nobody out. Troy Tulowitzki ran a pop-up down in center field, and Rosario was the first out of the inning. And then David Price took over and struck out Aaron Hicks and Kurt Suzuki to leave the bases loaded. That was the last time the Twins had a base runner. Price has retired 9 straight since. Oh, 2 to Rosario. David Price has used that changeup very effectively this afternoon.
You know, that's what I've been impressed with Price. First time through, time and a half, it was fastball, establishing that fastball, using that cutter. But since that 4th inning, he's been using the changeup right now to set up that fastball, using it just a little bit more.
Ball is hit deep but foul down the right side. Well, David Price has been a power pitcher since he entered the game, but he's always trying to improve himself. And now the addition of the changeup has been a very effective move for him.
This is the strikeouts by the changeups this season. 10% in April, 11, 29.7 in June, and 47.5 in the month of July. And again, his last start, he threw almost 30% changeups. So I don't want to say he's reinventing himself. I think he's just becoming more of a pitcher, going a little bit deeper into the ball game. You got to make those adjustments in game.
That never hurts to be able to throw 95 away from a left-hander. 10 strikeouts for Price.
It's a heck of a combination when you can throw that hard and then pull the string with the changeup. Reaching back, cuts that ball in a great spot. See how Rosario has to reach for that ball? There's nothing on it, even if he makes contact.
The fourth double-digit strikeout game for Price this season. Starting to have some fun now. Aaron Hicks, the center fielder. David Price now has 1,181 strikeouts since 2010. High fly hit to center. Pilar is there, 2 down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
2 outs here in the 7th. Mentioned David Price since 2010. He's second to Felix Hernandez in strikeouts in the American League. Hernandez has 1,272. This will be a ground ball to short. Tulowitzki retires Suzuki. David Price needed just 9 pitches to retire the side in order in the 7th. Another strong performance by David Price. The Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead.
Season game live or on demand in true HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, widget, and much more. MLB.TV Premium includes a free @that15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription packages are available. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. But
Thank you, Hazel. Twins have a new pitcher as Blaine Boyer comes out of the pen to take over for Irvin Santana. It'll be the 48th game for Boyer.
Boyer has spent parts of the previous 8 seasons in the National League, pitching for Atlanta, St. Louis, Arizona, and the Mets. This is his first season in the American League. 15 holds right now. That's a career high for Blaine Boyer.
Tulowitzki got it started last time up in the 5th. He had a leadoff single. He was cashed in by Josh Donaldson. Donaldson with the home run. The Twins have just gone 3-6 in their homestand. This is the first of a 7-game road trip 4 here in Toronto, 3 more against the Indians in Cleveland. Tulowitzki with a 4-pitch walk. That'll bring Donaldson to the plate. The drive of the game is brought to you by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Josh Donaldson in a 1-1 ball game. This was back in the 5th inning after a leadoff hit by Tulowitzki. Sends this ball to right field for his 27th home run of the season and 7th to right field. He's got power everywhere, putting the Blue Jays in the lead. And it's also our drive of the game this afternoon.
Tapped on the ground. Escobar at short, has but 1 play. That's to first as Donaldson is thrown out. Tulowitzki goes to second. Donaldson with a double and a home run this afternoon has taken over the lead in extra base hits. He now has 56 extra base hits. He started the game tied with the Twin second baseman Brian Dozier. Jose Bautista 0 for 3 so far. The Blue Jays have just 6 hits. Bautista shows you what he thinks of that last strike call. That ball was off the plate inside. Great holiday Monday here in Toronto, and those fans have a bird's eye view. Number 2 and number 14, 2 of the newcomers, Tulowitzki and Price. Bautista takes the breaking ball outside.
Everybody's getting into the act, aren't they? Tulo and Price. And they got some great seats to watch this afternoon's game.
Concession stand is free. Bautista strikes out. 2 down.
Minnesota's bullpen has been pretty good this year for Paul Molitor. That's a slider down and away. He'll use that with 2 strikes to pick up the strikeout.
You're right. For the season, their bullpen has been outstanding. Going into the All-Star break, their closer was 28 for 28. But since the All-Star break, as a unit, they have not pitched well. Their bullpen, a .617 earned run average since the All-Star break. Been quite a different story for the team. Paul Molitor, of course, played 3 seasons for the Blue Jays from '93 to '95, and all he did was hit .315. He was the AL All-Star in 13 and 14, Silver Slugger in '93, and AL MVP runner-up to Frank Thomas in '93. And could boast that championship banner. He was part of it, and a big part.
Got himself a ring. Their bullpen, the last time we faced Minnesota in that series, they really had a lot of shutdown innings and won a couple of those games late because of their bullpen.
Oh, 0-2 to Encarnacion. Upstairs. We're in the 7th. Minnesota took an early 1-0 lead. Torrey Hunter with a home run in the 2nd. Ryan Goins matched Hunter's home run with a home run in the bottom of the 2nd. And then Josh Donaldson hit the 2-run home run in the 5th. That's the difference in this game. the second on the throw. An insurance run off the bat of Edwin Encarnacion.
Boy, that is a big base hit for the Blue Jays. Take advantage of the leadoff walk to Tulowitzki. They get him to second base, 2 outs, and you got to come up with a base hit, and Edwin does. It was a hanging breaking ball from Boyer, and he rifles that ball into left field. You got to challenge Rosario. He does have 6 outfield assists, but this throw's not even close. Tulowitzki scores the run, and Edwin alertly gets into scoring position on the throw to the plate.
57 ribbies for Encarnacion, and he's in scoring position for Smoke. Been a rough stretch for Justin Smoke at the plate. He's just 7 for his last 50 at bats. This is popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout. That'll bounce and go out of play.
Swing's just a little bit too long right now for Justin. They've been really pulling his chain by using the changeup and then firing that fastball, and then you got to shorten up that swing and make contact, solid contact.
Encarnacion's going to score. Justin Smoke, an RBI 2-out single. 5-1 Jays.
Much better approach right there with 2 strikes. He did shorten up that swing. And he's going to be credited with an RBI single. He plates Encarnacion. He took second on the throw. And then Smoke delivered. It's a high breaking ball. And you can see he's right down on that one. Doesn't try and overswing. Watch how short he is to the ball right there. RBI single, and Blue Jays lead it 5-1.
For Smoke, RBI number 30. Russell Martin takes one off the plate inside. Encarnacion scoring from second. Couple of big 2-out base hits here in the 7th. Martin 0 for 3 at the plate, but this is the beauty of being a catcher. He's done a great job catching David Price for the first time today.
Yeah, I think on his list of importance, that's probably number 1.
David Price has allowed 1 run on 3 hits in his Blue Jays debut through 7 innings, and it looks as though he's going to come back and pitch the 8th. Goins is on deck. Twins have a lefty warming up in their bullpen. Goins has gone 2 for 3 today with a home run. Martin lifts it into the air and right. Torrey Hunter moves over into the alley and makes the catch. Martin's retired, but the Blue Jays get 2 big runs in the bottom of the 7th. RBIs by Encarnacion and Smoke. David Price will go to the mound to pitch the 8th.
plus basic TV bundle for $62.97 per month for the first 3 months. Find out how by calling 1-888-ROGERS-1.
David Price has had a terrific debut for the Blue Jays. He got an extra day's rest. 7 innings, 3 hits, an earned run. That was the home run to Torrey Hunter. He's walked 2 and struck out 10. And we point to the 10 strikeouts. That's the second most strikeouts for a pitcher in their first start for the Blue Jays in franchise history. Roger Clemens had 9 strikeouts in April of '97 when he pitched a complete game against the White Sox. Jose Nunez has the Blue Jays franchise record with 11 strikeouts in a first start for the Blue Jays. That was in 1987. And Price is 1 behind that number with 10.
And he gets a chance here in the 8th inning. You mentioned that they gave him that day off, that extra day. You know, it was such a crazy time for him. They were in Baltimore, the team, and then the trade, and then trying to get here to Toronto. Said, you know what, with all of that going on, it said it'd be best that he just has that extra day. David likes to work in the bullpen in between starts, so R.A. Dickey took the start yesterday on 3 days rest, and he was outstanding. Price with that extra day looks very sharp with the 10 strikeouts. I also like that they brought him out in the 8th inning.
Popped up. That's going to be out of play. You mentioned Dickey and his terrific start yesterday. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs. Dickey walked 2 and struck out 6. Dropped his ERA to 4.06. And Dickey, for the first time in his time with the Blue Jays, throwing back-to-back games without allowing an earned run. Terrific start for Dickey on short rest, and that allowed David Price to get the extra day.
With the extra day, so he's stronger, and Price is using that changeup a little bit more. There's a changeup right there. Told you at the beginning he led the major leagues with 17 starts of 8 or more innings last season. That's the most by a pitcher since Cliff Lee had 17 in 2010. He's only done it 7 times this year. 8 innings.
The Blue Jays have the Cy Young Award winners from 2012. Dickey in the National League, Price in the American League. Outside, 3-2. David Price, a season high 121 pitches on the 31st of May. He's averaged 114 over his last 5 starts. Changeup, called strike 3. David Price has used that changeup very effectively all afternoon. That's his 11th strikeout, and that ties him for the most strikeouts in a first start with the Blue Jays. Franchise record.
Everything and more. There's the changeup one more time. 3-2. And he's punched down to there by the home plate umpire. That is 13 in a row set down by Price.
Let me tell you, that's a thoroughbred. In the 4th inning, bases loaded, nobody out. Price gets out of it. Pop up, strikeout, strikeout. No one has reached base since.
Yeah, it's almost like he said, okay, that's enough.
That'll be enough. You had your chance. Leadoff double and a walk. Back-to-back walks loaded the bases. Another changeup. Lazy fly ball to center. Dozier is 0 for 4. Boy, that changeup has been a great pitch for him. Last time out against Tampa Bay, he threw 32 changeups, but he had a rough day. He lasted just 6 innings, gave up 5 earned runs on 7 hits, and a pair of home runs to Kurt Casale.
And I asked, as you see, LaTroy Hawkins is standing. He's ready if they need him. I asked Pete Walker today about that. He said, I've noticed that he's throwing more changeups. He just doesn't know enough about David Price, and he will find out about that. But I can see why right now. He established the fastball cutter early in the ball game and then started using that changeup just a little bit more, and that has taken the pressure off of the arm and has allowed him to throw 116 pitches this afternoon.
Off the end of the bat. This is the value of an ace. The Blue Jays, when they score 4 runs or less coming into this game, 7-40. Today they've scored 5, but they were being shut down all afternoon. Nunez with an awkward swing. 118 pitches for Price. Ground ball. Goins at second. Quickly to first. In time. David Price has retired 15 straight. Molitor has come out of the dugout. He is on the warning track as if the Twins may challenge the call on the field. The Blue Jays are still on the field. Price is still on the mound. Paul Molitor has come out waiting for his bench coach to get the confirmation. It's bang bang at first. Nunez can run. He stretches and Smoke has the ball. It's really close at first. So the ruling on the field is that Nunez is out 4-3. Joe Babra is the coach on the phone to the clubhouse checking the video. And Molitor says no thank you. David Price will walk off the mound in the 8th. He's retired 15 straight after the Twins have the bases loaded in the 4th. Blue Jays win it 5-1. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Song. Start with the Blue Jays. He goes 8 strong inning time to final 15 to face him here this afternoon, and he leaves with a 5-1 lead.
Handshakes all around, standing ovation in the dugout, standing ovation in the stands, and this is the sked ahead for the Blue Jays over the next 2 weeks. Here we are on the 3rd, and if you look ahead in that Yankees series, it looks like Saturday The 8th is when David Price will face the Yankees and then come back and face them here at Rogers Center the next time over the weekend.
Yeah, I'd say by design they made a point of putting David Price into this situation so he would have the possibility of facing the Yankees 4 times in the 13 remaining games the Blue Jays have against New York. Ryan Goins, he's had a good day. 2 for 3 with a home run. He tied it up in the second, facing Ryan O'Rourke, the left-hander, into the ball game.
There are Ryan O'Rourke's numbers. He was just called up to the Twins on July the 7th. He left that Rochester team. Lefties were hitting just 172 against him. You can tell he's going to be a lefty specialist. Little deception with the fastball and a nice little slider. So Twins are carrying 3 lefties in that bullpen now.
Brian Dunsing, Glenn Perkins, and Ryan O'Rourke. O'Rourke, 27 years old. He's from Worcester, Mass. Goins strikes out. That's the first out of the bottom of the 8th.
That is now 10 innings and 14 strikeouts for O'Rourke against the lefties.
Kevin Pillar has been on base twice. Shows bunt, pulls the bat back. The bottom third in the Blue Jays order again this afternoon has been on base a lot. 5 times in their 10 plate appearances. They've done a terrific job of turning the lineup over once again.
And then giving the big hitters that the Blue Jays have opportunities to drive in runs.
Jose Bautista, in talking with Pillar and Goins and Devin Travis in the spring, said, listen, you guys are going to hit down in the order. You don't have to be big hitters. We got veteran hitters at the top of the order. Just get on base. Turn the lineup over. And they have done a great job of that all year. Pillar pushes it up the first baseline, but it bounces foul. The Blue Jays have sold out the house again this afternoon. It's the 6th sellout of the season. 45,766 on this holiday Monday. And don't forget, there will be 3 more games in this series before the Blue Jays go to New York. A short 3-game visit to Yankee Stadium Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
And then right back here against Oakland and then the Yankees. So the Blue Jays are in a midst of 16 out of 19 here at home.
Pillar pops it in the air to right. Torrey Hunter catches it, chew down. Today, David Price making his Blue Jay debut, and he made an impression on a lot of people today.
Boy, did he ever. He was coming out firing that baseball. He struck out the first 2 batters of the ball game, Dozier and then Nunez, and then went to work. He got the home run and then a double, but I thought the biggest at-bat for Price was in that 4th inning. After loading the bases with nobody out, he comes out and strikes out Hicks and then Suzuki, and then put it on cruise control from there, retiring the final 15 batters.
11 strikeouts for Price. He ties the franchise record in strikeouts in your first start as a Blue Jay, tying Jose Nunez, who set that record in '87. David Price retiring the final 15 batters he faced this afternoon. His mom and dad were in attendance. Bonnie and Debbie Price here from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. There they are. They've got to be very pleased with their son, as they have been for his whole life. Off the end of the bat. Revere hustling up the line. O'Rourke retires aside in the ninth. We're good to the ninth. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. David Price in line for the win. LaTroy Hawkins, a former
versus the Twins. Blue Jays Central will set the table for you at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time. Phil Hughes will get the ball for the Twins. Marco Estrada will go for your Blue Jays.
Thank you very much, Hazel. And Phil Hughes, he's given up 15 home runs. He's a fastball pitcher. He comes at you. And the Blue Jays, of course, they're a great fastball hitting ball club. Estrada and Hughes, game 2 tomorrow night. How about the veteran LaTroy Hawkins coming in? Those are his numbers between Colorado and Toronto this season.
There, LaTroy, he pitched in the game that Marco Estrada started against the Royals. Back on the 30th, he came in and gave up a couple of hits. He's not going to be intimidated by anything. He has seen it all in his 21-year career in the big leagues.
Should be his 3rd appearance for the Blue Jays. Jumps ahead with the first pitch strike to Trevor Plouffe. Hawkins throwing strikes with a 4-run lead. David Price in line for his 10th win of the season. LaTroy Hawkins began his career in 1991 in the minor leagues with the Minnesota Twins. Right back to Hawkins. He'll flip it to first, 1 down.
You know, he might be the underrated guy that came over here for that bullpen. He stabilizes that pen. He's been here before. He's pitched a long time. David Price is liking what he saw right there from the Hawk.
Hawkins certainly an integral part of the turnover at the trade deadline. Something that gets overlooked, we go back to the 4th inning, was the play by the shortstop Troy Tulowitzki on that pop-up off the bat of Eddie Rosario. Bases loaded, nobody out. Tulowitzki went out into center field to make an over-the-shoulder catch.
And then throw a strike to the relay man, holding that runner at 3rd base, and then David Price took it from there, finished off the inning with a couple of strikeouts.
No telling what happens if Tulowitzki doesn't make that catch. It was a 1-1 ball game at that time. That was the first out of the inning, and then Price took it from there. After that catch, Price would not allow another base runner to reach. 1-1 pitch. Hawkins misses with the slider. Hawkins was a 7th-round pick of the Twins in 1991. He made it to the big leagues in '95. He says that time with Minnesota gave him a solid foundation that allowed him to pitch into his 40s. Sano fouls it off. It's 2-2. You think David Price has enjoyed himself this afternoon?
I think he's had a lot of fun. I know the fans have. The fans have gotten into it, and he is, we talked about that in the opening, how he likes to rise to the occasion and up for the challenge. Well, he is up for the challenge today.
Strike 3 call. Sano strikes out.
That's the quick pitch that he will use at times. Sano's never seen it before. He did that whole at bat. Now I want to know how many years these two have against each other in the big leagues.
Torrey Hunter against LaTroy Hawkins. 1 pitch ball game. LaTroy Hawkins closes it out for David Price, who wins his 10th game of the season. The Twins did not get a base runner.